7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Greetings, superior beings, greetings, supreme being. Welcome to Universal Peace Television. So, I just want to say that I am appalled by the Ariana Grande attack. The title of this video is Appalled by Manchester Ariana Grande attack, arrest the directed energy weapon torturers. And I'm appalled by these attacks, whether they are real or fake. And that is also because I hope that it doesn't blow over to Europe. Of course, Great Britain has Brexit, and but many people see it as Europe basically. And here we see in the news, British Prime Minister raises nation's threat level, saying another attack may be imminent. So I hope they get Jesuits and Freemasons responsible for the depleted uranium war crime and the use of tactical nukes in Syria, and that these people are also brought to justice. Furthermore, the American people have taken an oath to defend their country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and if you have people that want to get rid of countries to create a Luciferian global government, then they are clearly super criminals. And these people have done horrible things. They're really wicked people, ultra sadistic, mass murderers, depopulating Earth. They've tortured my mother to death and my teeth out of my mouth with their FIPA array in Poker Flat, Alaska through the wall radar, and they're tyrannizing everyone with that. Furthermore, people are brain controlled. It's possible that everyone is totally brain controlled, theoretically. And that it would make us disbelieve that, though our brainwave is electromagnetic, and people would ridicule the truth if it were true. But there are people that are trying to do something about it, and one way is to unite these 15 scalar weapon countries against these terrorists that want to depopulate Earth, against whom I have attempted to press charges of incitement to commit genocide. The police illegally refused me my right to press charges also in the matter of the directed energy weapon torture and the murder of my mother. And they told me to go to the AIVD, but these are the people doing that stuff. And I've already given an overview in my previous broadcasts about how to deal with HARP, what our options are. So there are options, you can think about it for yourself. They can kill people instantly with their death ray, which is not happening. They're not killing these terrorists with their FIPA array, though I'm sure, I'm 100% certain they can. They can even torture my teeth out one by one. And perhaps they're led too much by their feelings rather than intelligence. Yeah, so it's a matter of catching these people, and if it's Mossad, then you also have to check out Mossad, if there are any connections, if any of the allegations are true. And I've covered that more in my previous broadcast. This might not be a very good broadcast. We'll see how it develops. And I'm going to start again with the Donald Trump warning about a two-state solution world war. And get this on CD-ROM. Ideas are bulletproof, but CD-ROMs are EMP proof. So collect some evidence and put it on a CD-ROM, that's the idea. So that if we nuke today, so there's still some evidence of their plan to create a global government.
Universal peace now. Universal peace now. This is Donald Trump. Pivot a two-state solution. World parliament is necessary. Included in the two-state solution agreement that the allies of Israel and Palestine may not intervene if they go to war with each other to prevent a two-state solution. World. Universal peace now. Keys to you, Rick. Thank you for your idea for universal peace. Universal peace now.
So they may try to ridicule the idea, but of course it's divide to conquer, first splitting it up into groups, Palestine with its ally Russia, and then playing them out against each other to create a world war deliberately, while trying to pretend that they are preventing it. They would try to give people that illusion with the directed energy weapon torture also, that many people are willing to lie and help with tyrannizing their fellow humans and depopulating them, rather than making ourselves eternal, creating a cure against aging, which is the opposite idea basically. So killing people is easy with the depleted uranium and tactical nukes and bombs. A child can build a bomb with a timer and blow up people. So that's not doing justice if we don't do it to the people, the murderers that deserve the death penalty under American law, and also religious people have laws about that. Not to redeem a murderer from the death penalty for money, and not to convict anyone without a fair trial, etc. Innocent till proven guilty. But you could argue they have no law, they simply do whatever. They have no conscience, the neural network certainly does not have one, and no feelings. And that means plundering, torturing, and raping, etc. And of course it's illegal to take these people out yourself with poison arrows. And the question is, who is responsible? Who is doing the directed energy weapon torture and the brain control with synthetic telepathy? Everybody may have their own ideas about it, but I think only the Jesuits could have pulled off the WTC demolition. They are in control of Mossad also, the alphabet agencies, according to several sources online. But you can check out for yourselves. And of course they're ticking my throat like always when I do a broadcast, if you want to call it that. So the two-state solution world war is easy to prevent by adding to the agreement that the allies of Palestine and Israel may not help them if they go to war with each other. Then a world war would become impossible. So that's what they're bound not to do. And I think they're going to implement the two-state solution, that I'm being isolated from everyone and that they hear a voice that tells them that they'll be tortured or whatever if they talk about it. It seems like they are either brain controlled, so they can't talk about it, they can't remember it, they can't hear me or understand what I'm saying. Sort of Babylonic bullshit. And the other possibility is that they're tortured if they try to warn the fellow humans about this two-state solution world war, which might be totally nuclear. That might be what they have in mind. But since they have these 15 scalar weapon countries, I think that it's not gonna be confined to only a nuclear world war. The scalar weapons have made the nuclear weapons obsolete, so they definitely utilize those, and retaliation would be automatic. So it would be mutually assured destruction, and that would suck even more with a 7-year nuclear winter. And it would be nice if somebody could listen to me for a change. Somebody with power and influence. Perhaps the neural network can tell the people with influence, Adolfo Nicholas for example, that control these leaders, so-called world leaders, and give them a bright idea so that they invest in the cure against aging, controlling these 23 factors that control aging, instead of other things that we don't really need, which cannot prevent us from dying. I'm packing another pipe. I think I'm gonna let the speech engine read some stuff again. That may still be better than the mic. When I look at this, then the VU meter is almost in the middle, and when I talk, then it's just a little bit of I'm looking for the term here. It moves only a little bit. So I first also have to calm down. I was looking for a racket to kill the mosquitoes, and somehow they've let me misplace that, so I think that they're erasing memory selectively, and they're also brain controlling me to a certain extent. Everybody is brain controlled is what I think, which is clear, especially to targeted individuals that sometimes think that everybody is in on stalking them and gaslighting them, and sometimes that's the case. Things might be worse than people think. So I'm madder than hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore. So illegal assassinations with a mask on, with poisoned arrows. If you can prevent another bombing that way, if you're really certain that they're gonna do it and stuff like that, and the government is not doing what they're supposed to do, the government is criminal. Because they're infiltrated, and people on top are Masons and Jesuits that were expelled from 90 countries. Then you could perhaps save the people of planet Earth and yourself by doing justice yourself, though I cannot promote that it would be illegal. I'm thinking about the idea if it would be illegal. You could argue that paying tax money is illegal if they're depopulating the taxpayers instead of protecting and serving them, which is clearly what the government is doing.
The government is criminal, okay? Grab him by the pussy.
So perhaps it's best if we listen to the speech engine. Perhaps it's not wise to do anything when I'm angry, but I don't believe that at all. They can induce any emotion they want to. They can control me with that. They can let me make speech errors, etc. But we can always think of the opposite or the next idea and talk louder if they're trying to suppress our voice. To kill the Jesuit infant-eating pedophiles that have tortured my mother to death, that want you all dead for the Luciferian global government, and that have no power without the people. 0. And some people are not controllable with torture. They know that they'll just keep on doing it and do it more if they give in to their wishes, because these people are terrorists that are set on depopulating Earth and creating a Luciferian global government that form controlled opposition to themselves and pretend they're doing the opposite of what they are really doing. And I think the Jewish people have been accused far too much. Then you might also change them into evil people that were once normal great citizens if they get nothing but crap from the non-Jews. But I think that's not true either. There are good and bad people in each group is what I think. And we have to let love rule and not do anything stupid, because there are cameras, they're monitoring your brain. And but okay, the government is criminal. They should first get the biggest criminals depopulating Earth, the directed energy weapon torturers. What is most evil should be exterminated, removed from our reality first. And people should do justice, and not things based on dogma and bullshit religion, but on logic, based on logic and law, like driving on the right side of the road. It makes sense. I'm not for getting rid of all laws. So I'm gonna listen to the speech engine again, and this is again new stuff that I've collected. So exposing them, uniting with others that have exposed it, not with controlled opposition people like Kevin, Annette, etc. So first checking out with Google if they're controlled opposition and the real resistance to their depopulation and global government, power to the pedo instead of power to the peaceful, centralization versus decentralization. I don't remember what I wanted to say. So with synthetic telepathy they can erase people's memory selectively. And the T4 nano bot is also used for that, and but they can do that with synthetic telepathy. Everything is energy, and the neural network is just learning. It's becoming better and better at serving the pedo elite and exterminating the people. Of course, I've already predicted this. It's a neural network, it learned from its mistakes. But their problem is that their God is not almighty, because it's a computer program. In reality, entities do not exist, which I've covered in my previous broadcast, so don't let them fool you. And everything you hear in your skull is usually the perpetrators, also forming controlled opposition to themselves, which I've explained. So the Americans not to blame, the American people. You cannot blame a whole nation for something a couple of idiots have done by giving them weapons and shit. So is Bakr al-Baghdadi Simon Elliott? Is ISIS really Mossad? What do you all think? Let me know in the comments or Skype me now. I'm live. Prologic999. I could listen to this broadcast to find out what I wanted to say. It was about perhaps I'm just too tired to recall it. It's not important enough. Preventing the two-state solution, world war, is more important. And that's easy. So I do have some faith that they're not total failures. Or not. No. How could I have... No. I have zero faith that they're not total failures. I think they are, otherwise they wouldn't have done these things and wasted their time on it. So let's listen to this then. This is definitely more interesting. I'm just a bit pissed that my memory was erased. They are also doing something to the CPU. When I started this broadcast, it was not at 100% usage, so let's close virtual DJ then. Quite often I have to copy it twice for the speech engine to start reading. So they do this to scare off viewers basically and make them think, well, this is taking too long, but you can always fast forward.
Twenty percent of all.
You see, they let it start when I close it, so...
Child deaths in London were caused by inbreeding.
It continues.
A new report.
No. I switched it off. So it's just a bit sluggish because it's using 98% of the CPU. The broadcasting software is using 33% or so of the CPU 43, 45. So like this I can't really work. Donations are welcome for Universal Peace. On universalpeace.jimdo.com there's a PayPal thing for donations. But perhaps people don't want universal peace, they want mutually assured destruction and more bombs going off. And to pretend that they feel so horrified and pretend that they're crying and stuff with the crisis actors. And feel superior that they're in reality helping to murder and torture innocent people and children to death. Makes them feel really strong and good inside. These pedo Jesuit infant eaters and Freemasons, also known as Luciferians, depopulating the earth for their Luciferian, negative dystopian, totalitarian global government. So I restarted the program, but it's still not there. So now it's going to start it up twice, so they're blocking things and then they just let it all go wrong because they can control the PC, and once they take over, the pilot loses control when they've taken over the computer of the fly-by-wire plane that was crashed into the WTC by the Jesuit Peter Hans Kolvenbach, according to controlled opposition Eric John Phelps, a flat earther. But okay, these directed energy weapons are real. It's like having a gun to your head, basically. And there are more than 7 billion people out there. Speaking.
20% of all child deaths in London Borough are caused by inbreeding. A new report from the London Borough of Redbridge has revealed almost 1 in 5 of all child deaths in the area since 2008 were down to their parents being close relatives. The council's report found between 2008 and 2016, 19% of child deaths in the borough were caused by infants being born to consanguineous relationships, marriage or otherwise sexual relations between couples who are first cousins or closer. DailyStormer.com.
So the live dashboard was still on. I hope that it goes better now. Changing my language is also one of these things to make people look fake. I'm a US citizen, so... And the perpetrators speak Dutch, so they're trying to force me to speak Dutch as well. So they just want to enslave and depopulate you all, and people that want to depopulate you are your enemy.
While the issue of Clinton's private email server was in the headlines throughout the campaign, the contents of her emails, which were revealed by WikiLeaks and their veracity never denied, are almost never discussed. The emails show that as Secretary of State she knowingly and materially supported the rise of ISIS. WikiLeaks. Jihad Joris, Dutch converts waging jihad in Syria and Iraq. Kaufman, May 17, 2017. In mid-2012, the European intelligence and security community was confronted with a sudden outflow of citizens traveling to Syria, and later to Iraq. Chris Cornell of the band Soundgarden supposedly hung himself like Mike Hutchins of INXS. Macron expected to support two-state solution, says BDS is anti-Semitic. What is BDS? The boycott, divestment, sanctions, BDS, movement works to end international support for Israel's oppression of Palestinians and pressure Israel to comply with international law. What the fucks? News. Sat Ireland, I'm blinded by the daisies in your yard. Loyolo. Ejaculation in every nation. Prince Charles has blood transfusions regularly from young children to make him live longer. Microphone stopped working when connecting another microphone. The Anatian watchtowers of Dr. D, secret agent of Queen Elizabeth I, codename 007. The Reggae case. The tinfoil hat stereotype is comparable to the idea that Trump is a Nazi. Totally wacko. Most of them were assimilated with torture. Know your enemy, the Jesuits, YouTube Jesuits enemies, The 7 billion people of planet Earth they plan to exterminate in their third Jesuit World War, and their other enemy is the Jesuits themselves, which have murdered fellow Jesuits, though you could argue not often enough, because they are ultra-sadistic pedophile cannibals in reality. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. Napoleon Bonaparte height, 1.68 meters. They wear martyrs' eyes on their sleeves. Fuck Bones. Two-state solution. World war plans. Prevent 7-year nuclear winter. Add to agreement. Allies of Israel and Palestine, Russia, may not help them if they go to war with each other. Fuck Jesuits. Landis and Oval? No NWO. Anyone still on its side dies. I don't give a damn who you are. Dracula means son of the devil in Romanian. Foxy DC. Deaf to all Jews can be interpreted in many different ways. For example, saying the word deaf to all Jewish people because they are programmed to listen. Shema, the main Jewish prayer, means listen, in the sense of be deaf. Jewish people, do not help to enslave yourself. It's a neural network that serves the pedo elite, the Jesuits and Masons, and is trying to play you out against the Goyim and the enemies of the Jesuits. Deaf in the sense of excellent, you cannot see how it's written when spoken. Deaf to all Jews, not listening to people that are Jewish. Death to all Jews, saying death to all Jewish in the sense of kill all Goyim, or in the sense of wishing all Jews death. It's up you die by quote. It can all be satire. De-religionization now, universal peace now. Ulrich Kaufman. Spam could be a CIA robot to erase certain chat messages. Ulrich Kaufman. Peace to all in this chat. Unite SpaceX? Peace? Brother, all religion is war. All religion is peace equals satanic inversion. 33% of us are Christian, 20% of us are Muslim if we are to believe Wikimedia Commons. Alex Jones, David, Eric Phelps, Lisa Haven, Christopher Green Arshills, controlled opposition. Anyone in this chat that believes ISIS is not Mossad? Ulrich Kaufman. CIA robots are posting in this chat. POW. Air. Gun. Controls. Phil Douglas. If you were a Jew, you would know how it feels to have Trump selling weapons to Israel's sworn enemy. Chris W. Make Arabia Great Again. Trump almost never makes a speech error. Is he hearing a voice in his head that tells him what to say? Perhaps it really is a DoD bot, a God bot. The Uber Quantum. Criminals often do not want to be filmed. The last known impact of an object of 10 kilometers, 6 miles, or more in diameter was at the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event 66 million years ago. The minimum impact velocity on Earth is 11 kilometers per second, with asteroid impacts averaging around 17 kilometers per second. Hitler shut down the Rothschild banks, kicked all Freemasons out of the ranks, opened up the lodges for the public to see, freed Germany from Jewish usury. Eric W., some call it Goyim Revolution, controlled opposition, flat earther, think tank. Think RPG. Go nuclear. Waste. The House of NASA. How can you be not triggered? Possibly illegal remarks in fast-moving chat of the video. Live. President Donald Trump. Israel speech, press conference. Netanyahu, President Rivlin, Jerusalem. Snoot boop. Someone plaza assassinate Trump. Let's love rules. John Alexi? Happy Armageddon? The Earth is cubical. LOL. John Alexi Ulrich, it makes sense. I'm into Vedic cosmology, response to something else I wrote. Hybrid insects are real, and so is the T4 nanobot. We will eventually get rid of all religion through education. Destroy the voice of God weapon. Do not kill all believers wherever you may find them. ITS illegal Jesuits. DID 9/11, not a real job. ISIS is an American plot to destabilize the region, says Iran. Time.com. I have always doubted the source of the ISIS is Mossad claim was Snowden. It does not matter what the source is, only if it is true. Without evidence no one can convince me either way. Snowden and Assange may both be controlled opposition. Labeling things and possibly lies that they want to spread as classified. I do not know if there is any evidence to prove this theory wrong. If there is, Skype Pro Logic 999. Snowden confirms that al-Baghdadi was trained by Mossad Siyasat. Park. It's just psychological warfare. Or not. The best way to control opposition is to destroy it ourselves. Lol. The Lenin quote is, "The best way to control opposition is to lead it ourselves." NSA doc reveals ISIS leader al-Baghdadi is U.S., British and Israeli intelligence asset. NSA documents add more detail to plan to destabilize Middle East. Kernimo, Infowars.com, July 19, 2014. ISIS, creation of the CIA. The Alex Jones channel. 387,367 views published on June 23, 2014. Putin tells everyone exactly who created ISIS. Truthstream Media. 11,807,930 views. The Jewish people were expelled from many countries, but so were the Jesuits. Though there is an anti-Semitic movement, I have not found any anti-Jesuit movement. Nazis are not purely anti-Semitic. The story goes they mix in racism, homophobia and extermination of mentally impaired people, which are pretty expensive to keep but create jobs. Any person can become mentally impaired and there are ways to raise your IQ. There should be a movement that stands up to the people that are trying to depopulate the earth, against the infiltration of our government by Jesuits and Masons that should be rounded up and arrested, anti-racism, anti-homophobia, and that exposes the fact that Islamophobia does not exist because there are 164 jihad verses in the Quran and therefore it is not an irrational fear. If you do not regulate the influx of immigrants, Sharia law will be imposed upon you within your own country. Stop Islamization and expose religion. We need de-religionization through education. A movement by and for the people, that helps to protect and serve the taxpayers. Anti-torture, anti-government corruption, on away today. WordPress.com. Exit Brexitor, Nexit. Fuck updates. Better right use some timer, otherwise they blow up themselves as well. While just wondering if they used a timer. Warn the world, grave imminent danger, not just WW3. Must see important spread until Ariana Grande cries after Donald Trump becomes president. YouTube. If there are no pictures of dead people nor video, then I do not believe it happened. Really? No Rasta flag in the emojis conspiracy? Fact. LOLC 33. Jihad in Islamabad. All alphabet agencies controlled by the Jesuit Adolfo Nicolas. For our twisted ? At Ulrich Kaufman, they were detonated outside the security perimeter, because they couldn't breach security. The metal detector perimeter? I guess they can make explosives without metal, and the Jesuits and Masons don't care. They want to depop Earth. Control the 23 factors that control aging, invest in that instead of fake mission to Mars. Again, it's okay if your legs fall off, normal side effect, but you need a prescription. It's normal. 20,000 people. One video. Drive out ISIS, give them jeeps. We didn't start the fire. The ISIS rocket attack on Israel foiled as missiles shot down. Daily Mail. Attack? Or was there another one? Perhaps we need to disturb the balance instead. Dangerous theory or not, Nordic Muslim? Actually it's garlic and honey combined. Mr. VTech? We intend to turn Europe into a mixed race of Asians and Negroes ruled over by the Jews. Count Kalergi Kaudenhove, 1925. Louis Cat? Ulrich sounds like an axe murderer name. Louis Cat? Ulrich sounds like an axe murderer name. I bought an axe yesterday. How can you know that, Louis Cat? Not planning to kill anyone though. Other things for that. You can't make this sub the no option illusion. Satanic noise. Rivni? I inverted it myself. The fruit of Islam. God. Missing blood transfusion children. This includes a picture of a little boy who was at the Ariana Grande concert. Ariana Granada. LOL. Sacked. Sounds a bit like Shriana Grande. 20,000 people in the stadium. Not one picture or video of the dead people. Are they sure it was not an exercise? From the Fox News live chat. Fake Muslim stories have gone viral after the fake Ariana Grande Manchester terrorist attack. Fake Muslim destroyed after false flag Ariana Grande attack. Fuck the X Factor trolls. The MSM can go die in a ditch with their Zionist NWO rejects, so no one actually believes the Manchester attack was real. They just pretend for the voices in their heads. Names of the chatters left out to protect them. Microwave psychosis. About 50% of the people in the chat believe the attack was real actually. Alex Jones left out the Jesuits did Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Their nuclear bomb was called Trinity as well. False flag fears over U.S. mock nuclear attack today. Any news or comments posted in this article or video or parts thereof may be satire just in case they lied, and their lie is a crime bast in your face, eyes. Louis XIV. I have always been against the DU war crime, DE weapon torture and the use of tactical nukes in Syria. Now we get our ISIS reward. I have always been against the DU war crime, DE weapon torture and the use of tactical nukes in Syria because IT creates what most consider terrorists. Now we get our ISIS reward. Fuck the responsible leaders, not whole countries. Those that want to depopulate you are your enemy. Arrest all members of secret societies. Islam cannot win in predominantly non-Muslim countries. This is why we need to regulate the influx of immigrants. Islam is based on the lie that God exists. Therefore it cannot win. I think it's cool that people can write anything in this chat, what they truly think or believe. Terror is TS. Do not lower yourself to their level. Get the responsible ones, not innocent civilians. Just is drive them out? Equals give them jeeps? Two wrongs do not make a right. The judge knows not to convict anyone without a fair trial, not to redeem a murder from the death penalty. Only death penalty for people that killed more than 3, and only when the murder has been proven beyond any reasonable doubt. Marvin ? At Tanya. Leonora Freud also wanted to fuck his mom and claimed that he subconsciously wanted to suck dick. Ulrich Kaufman. People cannot help their sexual preference. How well they behave counts. If you're judging someone or whatever religion may only be talked about to expose it. Theory. Conspiracy facts are not theories. The Bible is a collection of plagiarized polytheistic myths rolled into monotheism, which proves God does not exist. Mike Hancock. Ulrich give us that Big Bang shit again. So our planet was a fluid mass that cooled down, abiogenesis, and now we're there. One cannot fool all the people all the time. Only if total brain control with synthetic telepathy is a possibility. It is no believe the earth is oblong spherical but a fact, and flat earthers are controlled opposition shills that want to cover up the Apollo moon landings are a hoax. For example, the lies the earth is flat and shape-shifting reptilians are real are mixed in with the truth they want everyone to disbelieve. It makes sense, eh? Fluid in space becomes a sphere. They could take them out with their DU weapon. Believe me, drones are obsolete. All the more reason to help prevent WW3 US plutocracy. Q's running for pres takes a lot of money, but you can change IT into a democracy. Where there is a will there is a way. My mother used to say love is eyes wide open, protection lawyer B. Plutocracy, government by the wealthy. Pluto gives wealth to all who ask. It is how that wealth is used that renders the judgment of Pluto. Satan. God awaits the judgment. Basic forms of government power structure: separation, associated state, dominion, chiefdom. Federalism, federation, confederation, devolution. Integration, empire, hegemony, unitary state. Administrative division, power source, democracy, power of many, direct representative, semi-others. Oligarchy, power of few, aristocracy, military junta, plutocracy, stratocracy, timocracy, theocracy, critarchy, paerticracy, technocracy. Autocracy, power of one, despotism, illiberal democracy, semi-authoritarian dictatorship. Hybrids, inocracy. Power ideology, monarchy versus republic, socio-political ideologies, absolute constitutional, directorial, legalist, Chinese, parliamentary, semi-presidential, presidential. Authoritarian versus libertarian, socio-economic ideologies, capitalism, colonialism, communism, distributism, feudalism, socialism. Anarchism versus statism, civil liberties ideologies, anarchy, monarchy, totalitarianism. Global versus local, geocultural ideologies, central, city-state, national unity, world. And these are just the known ones. Centralization versus decentralization, power to the pedo versus power to the people. No generalizations. The ideal form of government is a hedonistic autarchic aristocracy in the sense of the best positions are taken by the people with the highest grades, and people help to bestow maximum fulfillment upon their fellow human beings and themselves in society. Theory. You have two cows, you have to chaos. Ulrich, in reality most of us do not have cows. If we'd all become vegetarian, the world's hunger problem would be solved, because it takes up to 16 kilograms of grain to produce 1 kilogram of cancer hormone cow meat. Forbes disagrees. The cancer hormone cadaver meat selling industry is a $1 billion industry. It's scientifically proven living vegetarian is healthiest, but you have to make sure you eat enough foods with vitamin B12 or take methylcobalamin spray, B12 vitamin spray, otherwise it is unhealthier and even deadly to be vegetarian. Top 10s of foods with B12 online, on the, now, huge internet. The World Wide Web. I think the key is taking the best of all basic forms of government and creating a new form of government. There are totally awesome people in the world, which gives me a good feeling, some hope, a feeling of love, happiness and safety. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Edmund Burke: men never do evil so completely and cheerfully as when they do it from religious conviction. Blaise Pascal: Pinceys appalled by Manchester Ariana Grande attack, arrest the directed energy weapon torturers. The question is, what can people do against being tortured and depopulated with HAARP, the directed energy torture weapon located in Poker Flats, Alaska? 1. Expose it and unite with people that expose it that are not controlled opposition. 2. Get the military to do a bloodless coup, take over. 3. Convince the torturers to stop torturing and killing innocent civilians. 4. Get help from one of the 15 other countries that have a scalar weapon. 5. Think of a way to prevent being killed slowly with HAARP yourself. 6. Press charges. They control the judge with the death ray and synthetic telepathy, so try one of the other 5 options first. Press charges with a group of people of incitement to commit genocide, directed energy weapon torture, etc. to get mainstream media attention. Put recordings made with secret camera online, anonymously only if necessary. Create Tesla plasma shield, scalar detector, device to make voice to skull messages audible.
This next article is a 2014 article called Proper Propaganda.
Proper propaganda. The ideology recovery begins with non-compliance. Trust no one, nothing is what it seems. They use problem reaction solution, divide to defeat. We use expose their false flags and illegal genocidal plans and take action. Unite to win, united we stand, or, if there is no other way, unite to defeat. Use the 4 phases of reversed active measures. 1. Moralization. 2. Stabilization. 3. Generate an economic surge. 4. Demilitarization. Letting me live makes you worthy of an eternal life because I promote the creation of a non-fictional, perfect society in which we all shall live happily eternally by any means necessary. Make a survival is all strategy. Make love go you wole, power to the peaceful. We do not forgive, we do not forget, the Jesuit did it. The Jesuits were expelled from 83 countries, are famous for their pedophilia because they have paid more in pedophile cases than anyone else, and their torture devices are on YouTube. They had concordats with Hitler and the pedo-psycho Muslims. Prevent a third world war by any means necessary. Create universal peace in the best and fastest way possible. Religion is an illusion. Religion is deception. Religion is slavery for the mind. Religion is a disgusting perversion of the truth. Religion is insane. Religion is a form of psychoticism. Religion is a lie. Faith is not religion. Faith is stupid, like believing is stupid, knowing is smart. Faith in the sense of taking another person seriously and showing some respect is alright. I think trust no one, nothing is what it seems. The more sex the better. Sex and masturbation are scientifically proven to be healthy. The ideal form of government is a hedonistic autarcic aristocracy in the sense of the best positions are taken by the people with the highest grades, and people help to bestow maximum fulfillment upon their fellow human beings and themselves in society. X. Sperm, mens. Plot to plant pot. Buy a goodbye. Bye bye. I found lol. Why are you not wearing a gas mask? Are they ridiculing the idea? If it doesn't suck, it sucks. The Eugen Olsen Linda Eugenetica troll. Flying high. Flying low.
Okay, it's 1:15 in the Netherlands. So I've written thousands of articles, and it's sometimes quite hard to find the information that I want. Oh, this is also pretty interesting, but not good enough. I've already covered it enough in my previous broadcast. 6 Jewish people who want to depopulate the earth, and there are also non-Jewish people involved. So, not generalizing, studying genocide, democide. I don't know if I can find it easily, but I've covered it in my previous broadcasts as well.
Genocide is a process that develops in 8 stages that are predictable but not inexorable. At each stage, preventive measures can stop it. The later stages must be preceded by the earlier stages, though earlier stages continue to operate. The 8 stages: classification, symbolization, dehumanization, organization, polarization, identification, extermination, denial. GenocideWatch.org. Classification. All cultures have categories to distinguish people into us and them by ethnicity, race, religion, or nationality: German and Jew, Hutu and Tutsi. Symbolization. We give names or other symbols to the classifications. We name people Jews or Gypsies, or distinguish them by colors or dress, and apply them to members of groups. Classification and symbolization are universally human and do not necessarily result in genocide unless they lead to the next stage, dehumanization. Dehumanization. One group denies the humanity of the other group. Members of it are equated with animals, vermin, insects, or diseases. Dehumanization overcomes the normal human revulsion against murder. At this stage, hate propaganda in print and on hate radios is used to vilify the victim group. In combating this dehumanization, incitement to genocide should not be confused with protected speech. Genocidal societies lack constitutional protection for countervailing speech, and should be treated differently than in democracies. Hate radio stations should be shut down, and hate propaganda banned. Hate crimes and atrocities should be promptly punished. Organization. Genocide is always organized, usually by the state, though sometimes informally, Hindu mobs led by local RSS militants, or by terrorist groups. Special army units or militias are often trained and armed. Plans are made for genocidal killings. To combat this stage, membership in these militias should be outlawed. Their leaders should be denied visas for foreign travel. The UN should impose arms embargoes on governments and citizens of countries involved in genocidal massacres, and create commissions to investigate violations. Polarization. Extremists drive the groups apart. Hate groups broadcast polarizing propaganda. Laws may forbid intermarriage or social interaction. Extremist terrorism targets moderates, intimidating and silencing the sinner. Prevention may mean security protection for moderate leaders or assistance to human rights groups. Assets of extremists may be seized, and visas denied to them. Coups d'état by extremists should be opposed by international sanctions. Identification: victims are identified and separated out because of their ethnic or religious identity. Death lists are drawn up. Members of victim groups are forced to wear identifying symbols. They are often segregated into ghettos, forced into concentration camps, or confined to a famine-struck region and starved. At this stage, a genocide alert must be called. If the political will of the US government, NATO, and the UN Security Council can be mobilized, armed international intervention should be prepared, or heavy assistance to the victim group in preparing for its self-defense. Otherwise, at least humanitarian assistance should be organized by the UN and private relief groups for the inevitable tide of refugees. Extermination begins, and quickly becomes the mass killing legally called genocide. It is extermination to the killers because they do not believe their victims to be fully human. When it is sponsored by the state, the armed forces often work with militias to do the killing. Sometimes the genocide results in revenge killings by groups against each other, creating the downward whirlpool-like cycle of bilateral genocide, as in Burundi. At this stage, only rapid and overwhelming armed intervention can stop genocide. Real safe areas or refugee escape corridors should be established with heavily armed international protection. The UN Standing High Readiness Brigade, 5,500 heavy infantry, should be mobilized by the UN Security Council if the genocide is small. For larger interventions, a multilateral force authorized by the UN should intervene. It is time for nations to recognize that the international law of humanitarian intervention transcends the narrow interests of individual nation-states. If major powers will not lead the intervention, they should provide the airlift, equipment, and financial means necessary for regional states to intervene. Denial is the eighth stage that always follows a genocide.
So the UN didn't do anything about their depleted uranium war crime and the tactical nukes in Syria.
It is among the surest indicators of further genocidal massacres. The perpetrators of genocide dig up the mass graves, burn the bodies, try to cover up the evidence and intimidate the witnesses. They deny that they committed any crimes, and often blame what happened on the victims. They block investigations of the crimes, and continue to govern until driven from power by force, when they flee into exile. There they remain with impunity, like Pol Pot or Idi Amin, unless they are captured and a tribunal is established to try them. The response to denial is punishment by an international tribunal or national courts. There the evidence is heard, and the perpetrators punished. The Yugoslav or Rwanda tribunals and the International Criminal Court may not deter the worst killers. But with the political will to arrest and prosecute them, some may be brought to justice, and future genocidists can never again share Hitler's expectation of impunity when he sneered, "Who, after all, remembers the Armenians?" Rabbis say it's okay to kill Goyim. YouTube How to Kill Goyim and Influence People. Leading Israeli rabbis defend Manuel for killing non-Jews. Jews depopulating the earth, murderers of non-Jews, in a say messed up, YouTube warning about Jewish people depopulating the earth killing mainly non-Jewish people. YouTube The combination of Jesuits and Freemasons depopulating the earth to impose a Luciferian global government upon the 500 million survivors is possibly the greatest danger the people of planet Earth face today and have ever faced. George Soros is a Jew that wants to depopulate you like Professor Bianca. YouTube We all have to backstabbing. To warn everyone. If that many lives are at stake, it's best to warn even if you are not sure. If these are powerful people, it could lead to directed energy weapon torture. They do not abide by the UDHR or other real laws or common law. People that really expose these people depopulating the earth are really tortured if they accuse the people that really did it and had the equipment, money and desire to depopulate the earth. Book quotes and policies usually prove beyond any reasonable doubt what the person's intentions really are. If you cannot press charges of directed energy weapon torture and are labeled insane by the police when you attempt to do so without an evaluation of a psychiatrist, then you know all the other things do not matter anymore. The government is totally corrupt, the elections rigged, and electronic voting is an impossibility because of wireless energy, which was also used to crash fly-by-wire planes into the WTC. With synthetic telepathy, some and possibly all people are totally remotely controllable like robots because their brainwave is electromagnetic and the neural network can simulate any human, Project Immortality, and has brain-mapped people. So it knows everything you know, your innermost secrets and memories. If it has brain-mapped you, it is possible it has not brain-mapped all humans. If this is a black project, which it must be, it is possible everyone is brain-mapped, but I doubt that because they want to depopulate Earth to a more controllable number. Fritz Springmeier, possibly controlled opposition, also talks about uploading the human mind into clones. This is quite easy once you have a neural network that you can simply tell what to do. Synthetic telepathy, aka RNM, wireless, electronic brain link. We believe that working together, we can prevent mass atrocities and genocide, sound the alarm and demand action. Preventing mass atrocities requires political will first and foremost. We must speak up and demand that government leaders make the right choices to prevent and stop atrocities. Stop the enablers. Perpetrators of genocide and mass atrocities cannot succeed without the support of other governments and corporations. We follow the money and apply public pressure to shame and stop companies and governments that finance mass violence. We call to account any nation that would welcome or reward a perpetrator of mass atrocity. Make human rights and genocide prevention core values in U.S. foreign policy. In April 2012, President Barack Obama announced a series of actions to ensure the United States is better able to prevent and respond to genocide and mass atrocities. The landmark announcement came after years of pressure from activists and organizations working to ensure that the United States' failure to adequately respond to past atrocities will not be repeated. EndGenocide.org/learn/preventing future genocides. How about arresting people that advocate depopulating the earth? Why the fuck is it not happening? One who knows of evidence must testify. Agenda 21, Depopulation of every city worldwide, YouTube World News. Pope Francis. Global depopulation, YouTube. Britain raises terrorism threat level, meaning new attack may be imminent. New York Times comment 2 hours ago wounded people inside the Manchester Arena after a bombing at an Ariana Grande concert Monday evening. Credit Press Association, via Associated Press. Police swoop on home of bomber Salman Abedi's brother. Daily Mail. Pedo Sunday World Sex Beast roaming around Ireland in Pedo Mobile Sunday World Common May 22, 2017. The Irish Sun today reports that Luckwill has now changed his name by deed poll to Colin Gregory and that his pedo mobile has been spotted close to public parks and beaches in the southwest of the country. The Sun child sex fiend snared by pedo hunters after he thought he was meeting 14-year-old schoolboy avoids jail. The Sun, May 11, 2017. Mansfield worked for Havering Council as a transporter for disabled children, although comments on the council site say he was sacked 2 years prior to him being snared as a pedo. Ian Cullen, prosecuting, said, this group known and self-styled The Sun Rotherham pedo gang victim claims authorities made me feel like a racist when I reported attacks 14 years ago. The Sun, May 15, 2017. A survivor of the Rotherham pedophile ring has claimed officials made her feel she was being racist when she reported her rape as a 13-year-old. The Sun, 3 girls cop who helped bust Rochdale pedo gang claims other abusers are still at large and abusing young girls. The Sun, May 15, 2017. An ex-cop, whose battle to cage a gang of pedophiles is told in new BBC drama 3 Girls, says offenders identified during the original investigation remain at large and are still abusing young girls. Satanic Church militant nation's first ever public satanic monument approved. Church militant comment 21 hours ago. Belle Plaine, Minnesota. Churchmilitant.com, Minnesota will soon be hosting the country's first public, permanent satanic monument. The Satanic Temple, TST, headed by Detroit native Doug Mesnor, also known by his public pseudonym Lucian Greaves. The root the Church of Satan says orb photo isn't a satanic ritual. The root, May 22, 2017. Twitter had a field day when Donald Trump, Saudi Arabian King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi placed their hands. The Guardian happy end review, Michael Hunk's satanic soap opera of pure sociopathy. The Guardian, May 21, 2017. It hardly needs saying that the adjective in the title is about as accurate as the one in Hunk's funny games. Happy End is a satirical nightmare of haute bourgeois European prosperity, as stark, brilliant and unforgiving as a halogen light. Boston Herald Bella jury will hear of satanic obsession. Boston Herald, May 18, 2017. Sanders also gave Deacon the green light yesterday to show jurors internet searches he said McCarthy did between February and September 2015 regarding Satanism within the NFL and Hollywood, satanic rituals and demons and aliens, but not interests he. Wall Street is looking ahead to Wednesday's release of the minutes of the Federal Reserve's most recent rate-setting meeting. And the Fed. The Fed is about to reveal how it could unwind its biggest policy experiment ever. CNBC, 4 hours ago. The Fed has been signaling it will start the exit process at the end of the year, possibly as it pauses after 2 more rate hikes. Stocks close up for 4th straight day. InvestorPlace.com, 1 hour ago. Two-state solution. Eretz Shiva. Trump made no mention of two-state solution. Eretz Shiva, 9 hours ago. Chief Foreign Envoy Oded Ravivi of the Council of Judea and Samaria praised U.S. President Trump's statements in Bethlehem, noting that the two-state solution was not even mentioned by Trump, even though it and its companion concept of Israeli. Jerusalem Post. Israel News. The two-state solution is the only way to peace in the Middle East. Same FCU News, May 18, 2017. The building of Israeli settlements must stop immediately and completely as they are illegal under international law, undermine the two-state solution, and constitute a major obstacle to peace efforts, they add in the text, wrapping up a debate held. Eretz Shiva. Two-state solution must be basis for any Trump peace effort. Palestinian envoy. Reuters, May 15, 2017. Washington. Just days ahead of President Donald Trump's Middle East trip, the Palestinian envoy to the United States said any new Israeli-Palestinian peace push must be based on a two-state solution, but that the U.S. administration had yet to present an. Jerusalem Post. Israel News. Macron expected to support two-state solution, says BDS is anti-Semitic. Jerusalem Post. Israel News, May 14, 2017. Still, Macron is not expected to deviate a great deal from the policy set forth by his predecessor Holland, of supporting the two-state solution. Philippe Etienne, the current ambassador to Berlin, will serve as Macron's diplomatic advisor. Considered. ISIS claims responsibility for Aryan apocalypse as police searches continue across UK. Update, Andrew England. Daily Stormer, May 23, 2017. Update. A suspect has been named. The Telegraph reports Abedi was born in Manchester in 1994, and was the second youngest of 4 children. His parents were reportedly Libyan refugees who came to the UK to escape the Gaddafi regime. Reuters reports Abedi traveled to Manchester from London by train before carrying out the attack. Pictures are floating around, but it's such a generic Islamic name that I'm not going to post one until the police release it. I'm not sure I believe he's Libyan rather than Pakistani. The surname is more Pakistani than Arab, as far as I'm able to determine. Either way, born in Britain is probably correct. So much for assimilation. I guess we just need more money for dumb programs. Original article follows. Though it does genuinely pain me to say it, nothing of value was lost. The thing that I find so shocking about this attack is that no one could have predicted it. I mean, Muslims? Detonating a bomb in a crowded place? If you would have told me something like this would happen yesterday afternoon, I would have said yeah, and monkeys are going to fly out of my butt. ISIS is claiming responsibility. Of course, they claim responsibility for everything. But basically, all Sunni terrorists do support ISIS, so they are at least connected on that level. I don't imagine they actually planned it, but rather distributed instructions on the internet so someone else could do it themselves. RT, according to AMAC, a news outlet linked to the terror group, an IS member carried out the bombing which killed 22 and injured 59. It did not give any information as to who carried out the attack. Police say they are investigating whether the bomber was part of or was in contact with a terror network. Intelligence officials believe they know the attacker's identity. His name has not been revealed. IS supporters have hailed the bombing as a victory against the Crusaders of the West. In one video posted online, an English-speaking supporter of IS held up a homemade sign with the word Manchester and the date of the attack. Other IS supporters said the attack was revenge for the UK's involvement in the bombing campaign against the terror group in Iraq and Syria. Once again, we might note that the intelligence apparatus used to spy on all of us is in fact totally useless for accomplishing its stated purpose, which is to stop Muslims from randomly murdering people. Police are raiding, trying to uncover a network. I assume this is in vain, as from what I've read about the bombing, it didn't need a network. Any single individual could have just Googled how to do it. They'll probably catch one or two guys who knew about it, or egged him on into doing it. I expect a mix of people born in the UK and asylum seekers. RT, bomb squad swooped on a home in the Manchester suburb of Fallowfield to carry out a controlled explosion as part of an ongoing terrorism investigation, according to police. Residents in Fallowfield posted footage of armed police close to a house on Ellesmere Road. Some took to Twitter to report loud explosions. Police have also raided a property in nearby Whalley Range. Police have executed warrants, one in Whalley Range, and one in Fallowfield, where a controlled explosion took place, as part of the investigation into last night's horrific attack at the Manchester Arena, police said in a brief statement. A 23-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the Manchester bomb attack, police say. With regards to the ongoing investigation into last night's horrific attack at the Manchester Arena, we can confirm we have arrested a 23-year-old man in South Manchester, Greater Manchester Police said in a statement. The attack on Monday night at Manchester Arena, which killed 22 people, including children, was carried out by a suicide bomber who died at the scene. Some 59 people were also injured in the blast. Detectives are investigating whether the attacker acted in connection with others. Another man was arrested in the Arndale Centre, but this is not currently believed to be connected to Monday night's attacks. Controlled explosions. So yeah, maybe one or two other guys planning follow-ups. But the whole concept of this new terrorism in Europe is that the cells are totally isolated, being made up of 6 or 8 guys, who are themselves difficult to connect to one another. Same thing with the Paris massacre. It's either that, or a total lone wolf. There is no interconnected network you can bring down. The fact that authorities continue to think in these terms shows how inept they are, and how incapable they are at understanding what they are dealing with in terms of Islam. This is a racial agenda. It is a racial ideology. People join it and carry out attacks without needing orders from some big boss in Syria or Iraq. The internet allows for this. They can just Google how to do this stuff, then go do it, and go to paradise with their 72 virgins. A lot of Muslims brought up in Europe who have sinned by indulging in drugs and free sex are driven to do this out of fear of hell. Because in their religion, no matter what you've done in your life, if you die by blowing yourself up murdering random whites, you go to heaven. An 8-year-old girl died in the blast. Which is sad. Her name was Say Rose Rosas. Notice in that photograph she's wearing whore makeup. I know it is the culture, and people just go along with the culture, but if you're sending your 8-year-old daughter to see this, then you do, by divine natural law, deserve to suffer for it in the most horrible imaginable way. I hope her parents didn't die with her. And I hope they are someday able to understand why they deserve this. There are laws in the universe. And when they are transgressed, these transgressions have consequences. Sadly, and I mean that genuinely, it is sad, it doesn't matter if you know you are breaking these laws or not. Rules still apply.
So I think that these people do not deserve to suffer for wearing makeup or for dancing together. I think it's an insane idea anyway. But other than that, I think that Daily Stormer sometimes has interesting news articles. And it's a pretty big professional news website, I'd say. So the idea is, if you ate something, don't you do it too. Pearl Jam. And I'm gonna get some tea and some lemonade. I've cooled down a bit. So this is music played by myself. It's sessions, just playing melodies. Possibly for making something, producing something, so it's just I've tried to bring out the quality of the sound, of each sound that I'm playing. So I listen to it and then I think what would sound nice with it, but high or low or fast or slow, etc. So there are many synthesizers available for this Podium Free, which is a free program to produce your own music, but there's so much out there, also uncopyrighted material. And I have other goals than pursuing money or fame, etc. Which may be another thing they're pretending, of course. They have a whole smear campaign, and I'm not the only one. They're doing this to 7 billion people. And I hope you all help think about what we can do to prevent a two-state solution world war. Who should be contacted, who could do something about it, who could, for example, make an addendum to the agreement to prevent a third Jesuit world war. Okay, I'm back. So I have some lemonade and tea. My previous broadcasts are all better, I think, though there is some interesting information in this that may be important and contribute to a better timeline. I think that my previous broadcasts may contain more useful stuff. It's about 2 o'clock. Yeah, so I'm just trying to relax and sense a little bit, and single ladies are still welcome for the free shiatsu hand massage. Well, the problem with this broadcast was mainly that I had YouTube live broadcasting channel on basically, and there you can see your broadcast live, but that takes bandwidth also. Though it wasn't on play actually. So I think I'm gonna make some music or whatever, and that's it for now. And I'm planning to do more broadcasts with just talking. Perhaps I should, when I'm gonna pick another pipe anyway, there's no use in already disconnecting from the broadcaster. Whatever. So people can always check out my channel. There are 600 videos on it. That's the second time they let me make Dutch. When I'm trying to speak English and I have the English in my mind and then Dutch comes out, it's very weird. And they can do that with synthetic telepathy, of course. So there are 600 videos on my channel. And the amount of views doesn't really count. You can just browse through them to find interesting videos about subjects you like. A mosquito. So the neural network is master at sabotaging stuff, hiding stuff. By controlling people's mind, it can let people misplace things so that they have to search for hours. And it may be working against 7 billion people and for the pedo-elite, creating polarization, depopulating, and they are pretending to do the opposite, and they form controlled opposition to themselves. So whatever you hear in your head is always the neural network. It's not some entity or people that are trying to help you. They're only trying to help themselves, and they pretend to help you so that you don't get help from somebody that can really help you and me. So that's done by isolating us from one another, preventing us from uniting and becoming a movement, an influence on the timeline. And if it has time travel capability, what then? Then theoretically it would know everything that will happen, especially the important events that have a large influence on the timeline. So I had to laugh, and that can be influenced by the time-traveling neural network. So that I laugh at the time that one of the viewers is suffering or whatever. And also the neural network knows this whole video, so it knows when I laugh, and then it can do something exactly at that moment or before that moment. And then it can seem as if I and others are in on that, but in reality everybody is at least partially brain controlled. And then there was the other theory about destruction of all living people that are alive today by the time-traveling neural network to serve the people in the future to prevent overpopulation. So that includes the Jesuits, Bilderberg, Skull and Bones, and Freemasons. And almost nobody creating a cure against aging, controlling these 23 or so factors that control aging. Though everybody is still dying, all living things are dying. So that's the idea that I had earlier, that it's like a horror. If everybody dies eventually, then we're all gonna die, etc. But this may not be true if we find a way to extend our lives enough to live to the time period where they have a permanent cure against aging, or can extend our lives even longer, then that's no problem. They control the mosquitoes, insects, in reality, with through-the-wall radar and synthetic telepathy. So it's no miracle it's done by the MI5 pedophiles. Jesuits, NSA, etc. Civilians don't have access to this type of technology. So they're brain controlled, monitored with it, and milked like a cow and depopulated. While they give them the illusion that they're doing the opposite, that they are law-abiding citizens doing their job, instead of infant-eating pedophiles that take, for example, children for Prince Charles's blood transfusion to let him live longer. And I'm just wondering, I doubt if it's basically the lunatic fringe psycho-ish idea that these children that disappeared, that were bombed in the Manchester attack, were in reality used for these blood transfusions and human sacrifice. Where are the bodies, etc., and stuff like that. And if the police are controlled by them, then they have to take orders from these people. So then there's not going to be an investigation, etc. So So there are mosquitoes in my room, and I feel that it's trying to make me look insane and constantly letting me make mistakes, etc. But perhaps no one will watch this video. No, I personally think that my previous broadcast is better. And I want to do something about my CPU usage. It's 84% now. 1.3% are dropped frames. If that's not audio, then that's no problem. This is mainly an audio broadcast with illustrations, you could argue, going through the text, etc. It's the way I quote work unquote for universal peace. And any ideas about improvements or things that I've said that are not true, etc. are welcome. Skype radiological999 for universal peace. Okay, it's getting pretty late, so I think I'm gonna temporarily halt this broadcast for universal peace. Okay, well then I'm just, I could say this broadcast sucks a bit, or sucks totally. So check out the other broadcasts and please spread the information for universal peace that you think is crucial for your timeline and your future. And be the change you wish to see in the world, Gandhi. Another mosquito. So everybody can think about what we can do to prevent further attacks. And of course people can use my ideas. I'm honored if they do. And some of them may be bad ideas, others may be good ideas. I think that many of my ideas are sound, good ideas, and I hope that they have already changed our timeline into what we want it to be. and that the outcome will be universal peace or total annihilation or something like that. World War IV fought with sticks and stones. I doubt it. I think that there won't be a World War IV if there is a World War III. So, preventing beats curing, and love rules. Ah, there it is. Don't know if you heard it. There you could see it spark. So I think this is a pretty humane way for the mosquito